one and all. Hey, Metal.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Howdy. We are live.
I figured.
Yeah, I went live like a second, 2 seconds max. I think before you clicked it, I was just in the middle saying, hello, everyone.
In the middle of drawing a token. Oh, shoot. Look at the time.
Yeah, so we're still waiting for John. I hope he is coming on, you know. Although we talked a little bit on Friday about it, you know. Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
But he's actually implemented a digital now, so.
Probably on tons of other people. I know it, but it really is dumb not to have a digital tier.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that want physical copies, and they'll get the physical copy over the digital, but, you know, it's good for...
regardless.
Yeah, but it's good for international. I might actually go for the digital. Hey, Timothy, how are you? Timothy is in the chat. We're just waiting on Dillard to appear, you know, because we figured it out. It's like $60 or more for me to get the...
Oh, yeah.
You know, something that's $40 for most people, or $35. You know, I think he said $5. I'm not sure whether he said $5 or $10 for shipping for the U.S. Timothy says, however, I agree with Larry. You agree with Larry about what?
You don't offer digital, you're basically walking away from money. I agree with that too.
Yeah.
Because there's also some people who just don't care about physical copies of books.
Yeah. But
personally, I want a physical copy of the book.
Yeah, I would like it too. It's just that, you know, I wouldn't mind spending up. Yeah. I wouldn't mind.
Up, though.
Pardon it?
It might have to be a little bit down the road before I pick it up, though, but I plan on getting a physical version.
Yeah. Like, you know, 2,100, you know, like $60 is a lot of money for me, you know, and I want it. I really do want it, the physical one. And it's probably worth it. Or I should say it is worth it. No, it's only 10 for the digital. Timothy?
Yeah, it does say 10 USD. He's on a slight delay, though, so...
Yeah. Yeah, he's saying he should charge just $5. Oh. Timothy's, oh, okay, I thought it said 20. No. 10. Probably the dollar sign was making it seem like 20. We got 30 for the novel itself. 90 for the graphic novel, the original Ash Can, and the 8x10 sketch. Wonder, has he put the stretch goals on yet? No, he hasn't. I think he should get the stretch goals on there too, because he's at least unlocked one of them, maybe two of them. The other thing he's got to count on too is Indiegogo taking some money too. You know, they're taking probably at least 200 minimum through, you know, getting it to him and all that. Well, Cross Comics is late. Well, John is later than you for Cross Comics. After Dark show. I'm not sure whether is he showing up or not. He seemed sort of like he wasn't going to.
Evan had a question for you.
Yeah, I know. Why did I end the show early this afternoon?
Yes.
Well, I was done doing my buckler and all that, and I was a bit tired. I think we got John now. Hey, John.
What up, Rick?
Not much.
This little finger on my right.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. As you could probably tell, I'm inside my house.
Yes.
My wife had an emergency at work. She had to stay, so I have to watch the kid. Unfortunately. I can't be in my studio.
Oh, that's all right. Well, I've got your campaign up for everybody to see.
Oh, fantastic.
So you're
where are we at right now?
You're at $2,157. And you've already got, since you put the Buckler Digital up, you've got 2 of it claimed already.
Oh, cool. That's like $20.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even have to sit. You just have to email them the book.
That's correct.
What's that, Emma?
Be quiet, Emma. I'm on an interview.
What's that, Emma?
That's an interview.
You want to see how ridiculously good this kid has it?
Yes.
I'm going to show you right now. It's going to blow your mind. This is her play area.
Wow.
Slide inside the house.
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo,
baby. That's what I'm dealing with. And now there's going to be 2 of them.
Yeah, well, at least
we have a slide in the house.
At least
a slide. It's like a tree house almost.
Yeah, it's like a 2-story fort.
Timothy's like bracing for having my mind blown. I can't see anything because I didn't show it.
So how was your guys' game?
Good.
Pretty good, yeah.
We
watching some of the replay.
Able to be there.
We took Metal by surprise by what we did.
Oh?
Going for the hunt?
Yeah.
Throwing monkey wrenches and plans?
Yeah, well, I had a lot
From what it seemed to me, because I watched some of it, I wasn't able to watch all of it yet, but it seemed like you had like a mission from the king, and then they decided to go join like a hunter's guild and do that stuff instead?
Well, I put that on the side. I just wasn't expecting them to want to run out to a hunt right away, because I was trying to rationalize, they don't know what level the hunt is, maybe they just want to go in the overworld and get some experience or whatever, just run into a hunt right away. But then they wanted to run into a hunt right away. I didn't think they were going to do the mission from the king. That wasn't exactly what I thought. I thought they might explore the town some more and stuff. Marsupial was just getting really impatient and wanted to kill something.
Yeah, but it seemed to me like realistically, everybody was doing everything except wanting to go on an adventure.
Yeah.
Hey,
they didn't even want to interact with people. They just wanted to look at their paper and say, how many things can I buy with my money?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then, of course, Rick was trying to claim victory, even though he actually can't officially have a victory.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the reasons why I was hoping you'd be there, because of all the people in the group, you're the one who would actually want to roleplay.
I don't know.
Because you
I thought
said
that
you kind of like getting through situations with your wits and try to avoid fighting if possible and stuff like that.
well, not just with my wits, but like I like going in almost like
Here's some shoes.
it's my shoe. Thank you.
It's my shoe.
Yes.
It's my sock.
That's my sock. Leave me alone.
It's my sock.
Timothy says he's
I
thinking.
I like treating these fantastical situations like they're real life.
Which
Timothy
is good.
says.
That's how roleplay works. You become the character.
Timothy says he staked out a church. Church was gonna rob it. Well, why didn't you?
No, actually, Timothy tried to do a lot of things in character. He's not the one I'm complaining about. He just had really bad roles.
Hold on, guys.
But yeah, the Buckler's kind of been chugging along, actually at a pretty good clip.
Yeah, it looks like it's doing good.
It's kind of throwing me for a loop here because, like, the first time we did the campaign, the first day we got the majority of our money, and that was it. And it was like a slow burn after that. This one's like didn't make that much on the first day, but it's been chugging along and hasn't really been slowing down.
I am good, Elric.
So
it's been chugging along. Well, you've been on a few shows, right, John?
I've been on as many shows as I could, to be honest. I wasn't able to go on Samedi's show today because of the kid here.
Well, hopefully he has that next week, and you can possibly get on that next week.
Because I've seen people go on his show before that didn't have anything with them ready, and he gets mad at that.
Yeah. I did have mine already when I was on his show. When I was doing mine, I made sure I was all ready. So, yeah, that's good to do. Yeah, especially.
So I think he does them twice a month, right?
I'm not sure whether he's doing them now. A year ago it was every Monday.
I know, but then he kind of whittled it down to he was only doing it like every other Monday.
Okay, for like about 8 months or so, I haven't even heard about it happening. So I just seen it today.
Maybe that was my one and only chance.
Well, hopefully he's redoing.
Thanks a lot, Emma.
I just figured I saw it. I'd let you know right away, and of course I'll do the same thing again.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Rick, make sure he's ready for something. Says Travis.
Well, what more can I be ready for? You have my campaign there. Everything that I can provide is there already on the page.
Well, I think he's talking about
it every week. I just checked his channel. He did it 6 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. He's been doing open mic Monday every single week.
Okay. Well, I would
get Piper. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, like he said, he checked out his channel. I didn't. I just seen a tweet. So you just the only thing is you got to be quick to sign up. Keep watch out for it the next Monday, John, because you got to be sign up fast for it. Because it does sign up fast.
Wait, you have to sign up to be on the show? How?
You just email him or put a thing in, tweet him back right in the thing right away.
I think he means you have to RSVP for the show.
Yeah.
How do I do that? Does he have open DMs?
I think so. Either that or you just mention yourself right away in that tweet that he sends out. That's, I think, what I did. Or I DM'd him right away.
Okay. So I was looking through my list of backers, and it looks like Rick Piper's not on there yet.
No.
I'm not either.
Well, now that you've got the digital, I probably will be able to be easier. $10, $15 is $12 to $15 is a lot easier than 60 or 70.
What's $12 to $15?
The digital.
He hasn't done the actual conversion math. He's just estimating it's between $12 to $15.
Yeah, if you get the digital, I'm never gonna talk to you again.
Well, the digital means I can probably back in the next couple of days. The
I mean, you can back digital as long as you back it 3 times.
Well, yeah,
Rick, don't put me on camera. I'm gonna lay down here with the kid.
No, I won't.
You just make up for the rest of the money by donating it directly to the campaign without a perk.
Are you gonna lay down with me?
But yeah, actually, maybe tomorrow I can actually do that. She's gonna lay down. Elwork's what? Cross, why do you betray Dylan like that? I bought a physical copy. Why can't you? Because, what it cost you, Elric? 40? 35, 40? It's going to cost me, 60 or 70.
Why don't you take some of that Florida man money and just use that?
Florida man money? I don't know what you mean, John. I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't. Keep your secret.
I didn't purchase Florida Man. Wasn't planning on it. Maybe if Timothy pays me for coloring this card. No. So what convinced you to put the digital on, John?
Well, somebody was asking for it. I was like, I didn't really have a plan to not put it on there. I just didn't really care enough to include it before the deadline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you
have a strong opinion about digital. I really don't.
Okay, I thought you didn't really want to put it on, so that's the reason I asked.
I like it.
We should probably always act like you don't want to put it on. Because if you put it on a little late, you'll probably encourage more physical copies to be sold.
Shoes.
Yes.
Shoes.
Yes, those are shoes.
But there are definitely people who are never planning on buying a physical copy, so you can always wait for it to happen later to put that on for them.
Alric says besides physical copies can't get lost when your computer dies. Other things can happen to physical copies too, Elric. Plus, if you buy a digital copy, you can always contact the person and say, hey, my computer crashed. Can I get another digital copy off the person?
I'm gonna type back. Who's who?
Like, that's another $10.
And if they know that you actually bought it once, they can easily send it off because that's not.
Yeah, I mean, you bought a copy of the digital Buckler. You didn't buy infinite copies of the digital Buckler.
I'm just saying it doesn't cost them nothing to send it back.
Think of it like a concert ticket, Yeah, you gotta hang on to that thing. If you lose it, that's it. You gotta get another one.
What's this?
Is that a threat, Rick? No, it's not a threat.
It sounded like a threat. Either that or Elric's copy is going to catch up in a California wildfire.
Also, the Buckler's doing really good. People are seeming to like the fact that it is very streamlined. There's not a lot of garbage cluttering up the campaign page.
Yeah.
Getting a good response from it.
Well, it can't be a threat, Timothy, since I'll have no contact with the physical copies of the book.
Did you know that I offered to do a John Dillard cover for Timothy and he refused me?
What?
Is this true, Timothy?
For the Melvin? And then he just ignored me. He just ghosted me. I was like, oh, damn. I better get out of here.
How could anybody deny a John Dillard cover? That basically sounds like a
No playing music. All over the web.
Timothy says, I never did refuse you.
What do you say? What is this?
She's on over there. Wait.
He says, what? Well, you may not refuse, but you certainly sounds like you didn't acknowledge. Which is almost as bad as refusing. Maybe worse.
Yes.
Emma. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why did you let it go?
Why did you let it go?
Because it bit my finger so.
Which finger did it bite?
This little finger on my right. Oh, thank you, baby. Go play over there now. Go on. I already sang you a song. Go play over there.
Timothy says he did respond. He sent a drawing of Melvin as you asked for.
No, that was for something else entirely. And that was weeks before.
And Cross Comics says, this is the worst stream ever. Yeah, because he did say we're doing a fan drawing of Melvin in a couple weeks. Yeah, we're not exactly talking.
Did Crossed Comics see that Final Fantasy stream this Saturday?
I think he did.
There was some guy burping and chewing tips and shit.
Oh yeah, that was awful. He didn't even realize that his mic wasn't muted.
And the audio, everybody's audio is all garbage for like 30 minutes, dude. I was like, man, it's like Rip Piper hit a new low this stream.
So I'm thinking we should just leave it open. Every player can choose to stream if they want, and people can just go find the one that they like the most.
Oh, damn. It's classic.
Says, those who backed the physical tier are true Buckler fans.
That's correct. Not only are they true fans, they're true friends. What about the slide? Go up the slide.
You ever play fetch with your kid like a dog just to keep them occupied?
Absolutely. Look at her trying to go up the slide.
Let's see.
Yeah.
And she's doing it.
Yeah.
Hey, be careful.
She did it.
All right. Hopefully she'll be up there for a little.
Well, somebody looks like Todd right now.
Somebody what? What are you doing, baby? That's the wrong way to come down the slide.
That's like the second dumbest way you could try to come down a slide.
Well, she'll figure out the first way, the most dumb way, and do that exclusively.
That's not nice calling your child dumb, John.
I didn't say she was dumb. I said she'll find the dumbest way and do it. She'll probably lay on her back and just slide down backwards.
And then one time she'll forget that she left a toy at the bottom and hit her head right on it.
Yeah, she forgot Pepe.
Timothy says, we'll have to take your word for it. Nice parrot. Quack, 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 quack.
Parrots don't quack.
I was going squawk, not quack.
Sounded like you were saying quack.
I was trying to say squawk, 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 squawk. Not Don John. Oh, this is the weirdest interview stream or whatever you want to call this. talking with. We certainly are talking with, not talking about.
You're talking with me about a lot of stuff, including the Buckler.
Yeah. So for those that,
Well, I know that you've been like really looking forward to this, Rick, and you've really been like preparing with some hard-hitting questions. I'm ready for your questions if you have them.
what inspired you for the Buckler?
What inspired me for the Buckler? I wanted to do a character that had like real stakes, like emotional stakes, right? I was working on this character called The Last Judge, and it seemed like no matter what I was trying to plug into this dude, it was just the wrong concept. It didn't actually click. It didn't work. And then I was messing around with character concepts for garbage sidekicks on your show when I came up with the Buckler.
Yeah.
And it seemed like no matter what I did, I tried to throw something stupid at him. I was finding ways to make it cool about him. Like he was just one of those designs that just clicks with everything you throw at it. So that was like the inspiration there. That little garbage sidekick character.
What got you into drawing, or superheroes, and all that, the comic stuff?
Comics are just a really cool looking medium. When it comes to artwork, there's a bunch of stuff that you can get into. I was into a lot of it, but when it comes to just drawing things that look cool, there's not. You see what happened? You fell. But when it comes to the artwork, it's just for comics, it's just the cool factor is the most important factor in it, rather than technically precise or balance or composition. The coolness of the image trumps everything else, which is what I like the most about the comic artwork.
And does anybody have any questions from the chat? I'm thinking my questions up on the fly.
Oh, you ran out of questions already, Rick?
That was only two, Rick.
I'll think of more. I'm putting it out there, that way they can put their questions in the chat while I'm thinking of one another.
Sure.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking of something for the Last Judge. Are you going to do the Last Judge eventually again, or?
No, I used all my ideas for the Last Judge on this character.
Oh, okay. So you're not gonna throw him in this universe somewhere? Maybe have a throwdown between him and the Buckler.
No, I was thinking about it, but he doesn't really fit.
Yeah,
I might actually put him in the Cosmonaut universe.
I think that would be a lot more fitting.
Yeah.
Again, I guess so. For those that don't know, what are the Buckler's powers, abilities?
He has enhanced strength, speed, resilience, and durability. To the tune of about three strong men.
And I guess that's obviously combined, not separate.
That's correct.
Which says he doesn't have a question, but he will say congrats on reaching 2,000 on the Buckler. I know you haven't. Yeah. So, what are the? I know you've reached one stretch goal. You said 1,000. Do you know what your other stretch goal points are going to be?
The points are going to be 5,000. The points are going to be 5,000, 7,500, and 10,000.
Okay, so 500 you said, or 500?
500, 1,000, 5,000,
and 10,000,
7,500, and 10,000.
Okay, so you've reached 2 of those goals so far. Do you know what all the stretch goals for each of those spots are?
I do, but I am not putting them out there.
Oh, you're not going to put them up on the campaign yet, or?
They're a surprise.
Nope. Not until we're about 15 days in.
Oh, okay. So how?
I've been giving some real consideration. I've been giving some real deep consideration into the book, The Temple of Polar Twilight. Don't throw that at me. She's throwing her pepe at me.
Have you? I know the ones that we talked about on Friday. Are they still stretch goals, or have you changed them ones too?
I don't recall what we talked about on Friday, right? You have to remind me.
Well, you said I think 1,000, not 500. The stretch goal was going to be for putting the buckler into the the ash can into the back of the graphic novel itself.
Oh yeah, that's still happening.
Okay, and then adding the 4 pages or the 4 pages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all happening.
Okay.
Those have already been decided. I'm talking about the ones that are further down the line. I'm not going to reveal those yet because I'm not exactly sure how fast I'm going to be able to get them done because I don't want to put garbage up on the tiers. I want that to be content for the book. Yeah. And the only way to do that would be to create more content. And I can't necessarily devote more time to creating more content if I don't have the time to do it and have to fulfill. You know what I mean? Yeah. And what I really want to do is I want to complete the book, The Temple of the Polar Twilight, which is only going to be 22 pages. Style? Yeah. You know, the Batman the Animated Series. And if I can do that, I would like to include that as a stretch goal, but I have to really think about how that's going to work out because regardless of how fast I can draw the pages, which is pretty quick in that style, it's still going to take time. Yeah, for sure. You still got to get formatted, lettering, all that stuff. Everything's got to. It's a whole other comic, so it has to be really. I have to really think about it before I commit to anything. Yeah.
And I saw you pump out pages in that style when you were messing around with one of Cross's comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and your estimated shipping date is April 2021, so that's not running the campaign probably for the 2 months, so that's 3 months delivery time or to get the stuff and get it out.
Yep.
And we know you won't have any problems getting money from Indiegogo.
That's true. I have a proven track record of being able to get money from Indiegogo. Emma, your feet are all dirty. Nasty baby.
Timothy says, are you going to introduce the character Buck Nasty?
Buck Nasty? No, I'm not going to use the character Buck Nasty in this iteration. I'm going to put her on a chair. I'm going to put this chair down right here. And I'm going to put Peppa Pig on the chair. And you're going to be happy and you're going to leave me alone.
You only wish, John. You only wish.
Oh, she bought a second chair. Now I need to put a different one on. Okay. Who's this, Susie? Susie Bunny, okay.
And I see
there you go, the elephant and the rabbit.
I see you've sold one of your original interior art pages, so that's good. 8 of the interior. You have any questions, Mel? Anything you can think of?
I was just going to let you flounder for a while more, but... So originally, I think you said you were only expecting maybe like 30 backers when you were being kind of depressed and we were talking online. How do you feel?
What are you talking about? That never happened.
Yeah, you said that.
Nope.
But you were being like super pessimistic about everything. So
I was never depressed in my life. What are you talking about? So go ahead with your fake question. Go ahead.
Let's say, how do you feel already being at 36?
Fantastic, like I always feel about things. No, it's fine. 36 Bachelors is great, and I've really been racking my brain trying to figure out how to get this book as much exposure as possible to the people that actually watch or comment or listen to my stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because when you start to go after those crowds that are kind of out of your wheelhouse, it's dicey. Because it's then your responsibility to make sure that they return, and you got to commit to the work of actually courting these new people. When in reality, one of the hardest things is getting everybody that you have already had contact with and already do like your stuff. That's hard. That's not easy. Like there are people, like today, there are people that are like, I had no idea that you were even going live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that you were live, not that you were funding, but that you even had a plan that this was even happening. Because you may think that everybody that could know must know already. It's not the fact. It's not necessarily the case, usually at all. And it takes a lot to get. It's like the promotion machine is a lot of work. And I want to really, before I start kind of, yes, very big fat bird, yes. Penguin? No, this is an angry bird. That's not a penguin. It's
Butterfly.
Would you stop? It's obviously a bird, not a butterfly.
Penguin.
It's not a penguin. It's a bird, pájaro.
It's a bird pájaro.
Yes.
It's a bird pájaro.
It's a big fat bird, pájaro grande.
Pájaro.
Pájaro panzón.
Timothy says the Nile is just not a river in Egypt, John. I think that was about
The pessimism.
yeah. And Timothy says ask Rick about the birds.
Yeah, Rick, you know what this is. What is this? Aren't you an ornithologist?
No.
So I was really thinking like, okay, because I really want to go after some broader base of people, but at the same time, I still think that there's untapped,
Potential?
like people that I already have that would already be interested that I just haven't been able to get in contact with. Primarily my email list. I really got to get that extracted. I'm having a really hard time extracting that off the website.
Being a pain in the neck.
I'll show
Yep.
afterwards. I'll show you the easiest way to do that, John.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. And if my wife does ever come home today, maybe she might even come home before I might run out of battery here, and I could even go do that right now while we're still live. I don't know. But Emma, get over here. How many times should you call a kid before you have to go up and go hit him?
Once.
Right?
Yeah.
Actually,
You have to give them a shoe warning in between. The second time you
She's gonna catch a break today because I don't want to hit her live on TV.
Yeah.
Timothy says it's easy, just download it. Yeah, but then you get it in a spreadsheet and all that. Sometimes it's hard to.
Oh, they don't give you a CVC format for a contact list?
Well, yeah, they give you
No,
the
it's a word spreadsheet.
CSV or whatever.
CSV,
But there's an easy way to do it, John. Really, I'd say an easy way to go. Not going to bring it up on this one here, but where everybody can see. I'm not going to show it. But
Rick, just forget about it till later.
okay.
I know you got those. Hard hitting questions. You've been watching Dateline and stuff.
Me, Dateline, never.
I said Dateline, not Date Night.
It said Dateline. I don't watch Dateline. That sounds like you. Oh, what are some hard
How much
hitting?
that stuff means.
Oh, okay. So
No, I mean there's not much to this stuff. I mean, realistically, it's a comic book.
yeah,
Is it a superior comic book? Probably. Is it something that better than the comic books you've had recently? Probably.
no bias,
Better
guys.
than most of the other comic. I mean, is it drawn better? Does it have better composition? Is it just an overall better quality product than pretty much everything else out there? Probably.
No bias from you in that, eh? Either, John?
I mean, there's some bias, but does that really necessarily disqualify it as being true?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I'll let you look at Peppa Pig.
Okay.
No, I actually did something I normally don't do. I shared it on my personal Facebook to my friends and family.
Ooh, thank you. I know my sister was sharing it out on Facebook, which is something I try to stay away from. I don't really like being on Facebook.
I don't either.
There's too much family on there. But it got a good response. People were liking it. I think one of my aunts bought it.
So, yeah, it's so what made you decide to bring it back to Winnipeg? Like Canada, Is it weird doing being an American doing a Canadian superhero or Canadian supervillain comic?
Well, the only weirdness that comes around is people assuming I'm from Canada. Other than that, it's pretty simple. I mean, Canada, I've been there. It's basically USA Light. So it's like I wanted to make this guy as big and as imposing as possible. He's a villain, but he's not necessarily some sort of a, cosmic superhero human being, Somebody with a nice high-powered rifle could probably take this guy out. But I wanted to make the citizenry even more fearful than him than a normal citizenry would be. And I think the only citizenry that matches close enough to that would be Canadian.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, I mean, definitely people wouldn't be afraid of him if he was still down in Texas where he was doing his training.
It's a joke, Rick. It's a joke.
I know. I sort of know.
I'm just better at them than most people.
Is it a joke?
No,
No one laughs.
There really is no reason that he's in Canada other than the fact that when I modeled him to be the Buckler as a sidekick for the Canadian Shield, he was in Canada. That's the only reason.
So can you let us in on some of the history that people might not know about the Buckler?
Should I give away spoilers? Let's see.
Or what? Spoilers.
Well, I'll give you something. Okay, I'll give you something. And this is still in the works, so maybe you don't. Maybe even Metal doesn't know about this. I don't know.
That's very possible.
Okay, so there's a cult, right? Now I'm not one that goes in for cults. I'm not even the kind of person that likes to read stories about cults. However, there was a story that was presented to me that I'm really considering drawing and kind of doing next. Not because it happens next, but because I want to get it before this story goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And that is and the Buckler Diaries are going to be essentially the Buckler ash cans. So the Buckler Diaries are going to be a series of short stories. This short story in particular takes place after the events here in this story, but not too long after. Because what happens is the totem that the Buckler retrieved from the Temple of Polar Night, that totem was lost for a very long time, and there's a group of people of cultists that protect those totems, and they not only do they protect them, then it's not that they're good guys; they're actually quite evil. But they've been waiting for somebody to come and claim that totem, and they find it absolutely abhorrent that the Buckler was the person that was chosen by the totem to wield its power. So they want to end his life so they can choose somebody else.
Uh-huh.
And in order to do that, they invoke one of their rituals. They invoke the spirit of the Wendigo to come and get the Buckler.
Ooh, that should be interesting. And do you know about this cult of Dillard that Evans created?
I've seen it, and I've been put into the group. But I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
And I don't know why it's represented. I don't know why it's represented by a fish.
Because it's COD, spells cod.
It's cod, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
think Evan is missing his days back in the Cult of Raven.
He must be.
I mean, he even tried, because it was We Todd's before this. It's the same group chat, so you were already in there.
Oh, okay.
And he was doing the Todd of the month before, like the Cultist of the month. I think he's having like severe either nostalgia or withdrawals from not being in the Cult of Raven.
Oh, this is your backpack. Look at her backpack is a pink unicorn.
Fancy.
That's her backpack with a leash. Bless you, baby.
All kids should probably.
So maybe that's a story you guys didn't know about the Buckler.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that before.
Yeah. So there you go, Rick, exclusive.
Cool. Trying to think of other things. Unfortunately, it's part of it's thinking about stuff that, the crowd here might not know or whatever, because, or that, what I might know versus what they don't know. Not that I think there's a lot there because, although Mel probably knows more than me because he's hung out a lot more with you. I know.
Yep. Life is hard.
Yeah. Timothy says, so what if I was interested in having the Dillard do a cover? Is the offer off the table now?
Of course it is. If anybody knows anything about me, is that I do things very sneakily. I'm willing to do something for you, but if you show some sort of being unappreciative, I immediately retract my offer.
I don't think he'd be unappreciative.
Hooray.
He says, because I was considering that for the next campaign. Says Timothy.
Well, you can always charge him an insolence tax.
Yeah. So let me ask you something, Rick.
Okay.
I need to take a break for a second. I have to make a phone call.
Yeah.
Would I be able to come back?
Oh, yeah.
Or would you wrap it up?
No, if you want to come back, yeah. We'll go.
Okay, I'll be back in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sure we can figure stuff out to do in that time. I don't know what.
I don't know. That sounds like a big ask.
Yeah. Here, let me put it on. There we go. It's on. Camera's on both of us, so to speak.
Oh, is it?
Well, on me and on Google or on Firefox, the Meet. Okay, so you're gonna have to wait for your answers, Timothy. What do people in the chat want to talk about? Oh, Timothy, can I
You can also expect a heavy insolence tax.
Okay, Elric says, Can we talk about what will happen for this weekend on the RPG? Sure.
No.
Okay.
Immediately shot down.
Well, I think he means. It depends on what he means too. You know, showing up, or obviously, no thing about what metal's going to do to us. Then again, we don't know what we're going to do either, probably because depends on what one person does and all that.
I mean, you could talk about what you plan to do. Not that that really matters.
Yeah.
So, unless, Elric wants us to talk about him planning a time to get with me to make a character, that I'll talk about.
Yeah. Or we could do it over air right now, somehow. 20 minutes.
For that.
Probably
take him a good hour to make a character.
Yeah. I was going to say, 10 to 1 Dillard won't show again. I was going to ask Timothy whether I could show his card that I'm coloring. It's not finished yet, obviously, but...
Oh, actually, let me open up Photoshop. I forgot to export that image. I'm going to send you that map. With the terrain slightly colored. Just so you can see where the things are. Yeah, but I didn't export it, so it's going to take me a second to open up Photoshop.
Okay, so this starting to get done. Things are starting to come. I did a little bit since I saw or was talking to Timothy earlier. Rick, talk about your real life medical problems. That's always fun. What medical problems?
Do you have any? I thought your only problems were being, closing in on the latter half of the hill and weight.
Yeah. Well, maybe my nose, that's about it.
Yeah.
Who drew that? Timothy's guy. Ulrich says, I might be able to join this weekend, but I don't have any idea what type of race I want to be. I'll just have to look at the races again. Yeah. Well, you sent Ulrich
If you get in a call with me, I can help you narrow that down very easily, like I did with everyone else.
Yeah.
I sent it to you.
It's alright to show that map. Did you just DM it?
Yeah, sure, if you want to. Yeah, I sent it on Twitter. You can show it or not. I just sent it to you because you were asking about like the geography when we were last talking.
Yeah.
And I figured, unless I told you, it'd be pretty hard to figure out where the grasslands start and the desert begins.
Copy.
Dillard says that your only medical ailments is that you are too manly and you don't have enough space between your legs for your equipment.
So there, people, is the map with color.
Way.
So now I'm going to have to go and take all this stuff out again to put the color in. Or to put the water in.
I can send you also a completely untextured or colored version of the map too.
Oh, that could, like without all the.
You never asked for that. Just black lines on white paper.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It doesn't have any of the names on it, though. But there's
Yeah.
hardly any names on here as it is.
Yeah, well, I can put that stuff on easy enough.
Yeah, it's
I don't remember how to spell his name, the one from Final Fantasy VII. Also, Metal, can I be a character with traits that would make me like Kajata or Cloud?
Hold that thought. Take a call.
You seem to know a lot about Rick. Says Timothy. Yes, and we are right in here, in this area. Well, now it's just you, Cross. Love out loud. Yeah, so I can't really answer that question. Yeah, I started. Yeah.
Okay, my mom tried calling me, but her phone doesn't work. She always tries calling me, and it just disconnects immediately.
Lovely. Yeah. Okay, so I showed off that stuff. Elric was saying, Metal, can I have a character with traits that would make me something like Kadaja or Cloud, a character that's enhanced, but as a red mage, like from Final Fantasy VII?
Oh, well, I know who Kadaj is. He's from Advent Children. There are some ways of working this, and red mage is an option. You just have to talk to me when we're building it.
Dylan says, I'm intimately familiar with Rick's medical conditions. After I tricked him out of his power of attorney, I didn't know in Canada that also makes you his legal guardian. I don't think so.
I don't know. Canada seems like the weird type of place where that would be the case.
Eric says, I'll try to make time so we can do the character creation.
We just dropped the C, yeah.
Yeah.
And autocorrect didn't fix it because reaction is a word.
Yeah, when you need it to work, it doesn't, and when you don't need it to work, it does. So yeah, we showed off a couple things there. Trying to think of other things for the campaign. So yeah, it's going to be a while before another week. Well, he said the 15th, so maybe Friday you'll see the stretch goals up there, I think.
That's a possibility.
Let's see whether he's gotten any more money. Well, yeah, and the other thing is, it's a little bit hard getting on shows, getting people to, have you on. You gotta schedule a couple weeks in advance or something like that, or more. Well, that's, heck, we're having Bric-a-Brac on that again next week, because they've redone their relaunched on Indiegogo. They relaunched on Kickstarter, canceled it for some reason, and then now they're back on Indiegogo.
Oh, he's like creation and reaction are basically the same word. Mind blown. Yeah, I mean they have all the same letters in it. You just move where the C is.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do like the new lettering for the Buckler. What does everybody think of this new lettering for the Buckler? It's different
Are
than
you
what
talking
is.
about the logo font?
Yeah. You
It went
know,
through a lot of tribulations. But
Dillard's not a.
the original way he wanted to do it was the right way to do it. It just wasn't executed the best, and it was only supposed to be a temporary thing anyway. And after a lot of trial and error, he ended up going back to that way and making this really really good version of it with the bullet holes and everything. It's really good looking.
Yeah. Dillard was on Bullet, but he had something to do. He's taking care of his daughter. I'm not sure whether that had to do with that or something else. He will be back on hopefully within the next 10 minutes or so. We'll be going over, talking or going over, saying something or whatever.
Oh, is Thursday's Drawn and Quarter the Buckler? Let me look at it. The schedule. Yes, it is. That's cool. Too bad it happens at the same time as your show, but I'll probably have it muted in the background. That on Drawn and Quarter fan edition this week is going to be the Buckler.
That might mean I have to cancel Thursday.
Because you might want to have to participate, even if it's just draw along, right?
Well, no, I'm thinking I've done quarter all the meditation time.
I'm sure they'll have open spots if you want to be on it, Rick.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm thinking. You know, I was on for sketchbook. We're talking my sketchbook. We were talking with John, and we're going to be still talking with him in a few minutes about his book, The Buckler, that he has right now on Indiegogo. Dylan says, I'm waiting on hold for an important thing. I'll be back in 5. Elric says, it's not false advertising. Dillard's just on a break. Yeah, the star power is going to him. No. Yeah, but you know, I was on for he was on for was he on for Canadian Shield?
I don't know.
I
I
forget.
don't remember that one.
He said, I backed it already. Oh, that's awesome, Sketchbook. Glad you did that. What else did but I was on for what's the name of it? Tank's character, and I was on for Skunk Girl, so I think I should be on for that. Schedule. Okay, where do you type? Well, Pixel now. Who's live with you right now?
Who's live?
This is Metal with me right now. Is per the course.
Yeah, I'm here all the time. And Matt Reese just jumped into the audience as well.
Hey, Matt, how are you? I'm Dillard's back.
Hey, Dillard, you're back.
All right, sorry, I had to call my wife at a certain time. She works at a very particular kind of job where I have to kind of keep tabs on her every now and then, sometimes in sketchy places. But
Sounds like
usually the cops will tell me what's going on usually. But was Rick trying to rehash and trying to say that I wasn't on the Canadian Shield Drawn and Quartered edition?
No, I was not sure whether you were or not.
Because I distinctly remember that was the first time I kind of did the Berserker mode with the antlers popping out of somebody's forehead. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Now I remember.
And everybody was like, that's fucking awesome. Does that Canadian Shield actually have that power? And you were like, no. And then I said to you, Rick, I said, well, fine then. I'm just going to take it for myself. I'll put it on the buckler.
Hey, Art of Reed is here. And I don't think you ever did send me that picture either, did you? To put on my fan page.
No, absolutely not. Why would I get that to you? You were so ungrateful about it.
Well, so I can promote you through it? Maybe promote myself a little bit else through it too?
But the thing is, every time, because I know you... Emma! Calm down. Because I know you, Rick. Every time you're going to bring it out, you're going to say, "Now this isn't canon," or "This isn't correct," or "This isn't right," or "This is the way it actually happens." But it's a nice picture anyway.
I wouldn't say nice. I say great.
That's the only part of that statement you want to correct there.
Sketchbook says, so any new ideas for book promotion?
Well, I'm working on a cartoon right now, where a little Cultivate comic sketch. That's going to be a new promotion video going up for the Buckler. I don't have any new ideas right now, and I am open to ideas. If you know somebody that got a used car dealership that I can go spin a sign in front of that says the Buckler, I'm willing to go do that.
No, I don't.
Timothy says Rick is such a diva.
He really is. I don't know. I can't explain it.
So
Hey, no jumping. Stop
Heard
it.
him, Rick. No jumping.
Sorry about that.
No problem. I was gonna say, so who is your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero, that would have to be Green Lantern Guy Gardner.
Okay, why?
Good choice.
Because he's almost universally trashed, undeservedly, and I do believe it's undeservedly. And because I think he still has the, he's almost more heroic for putting up with these self-righteous heroes, and still being a team player.
Yeah.
Especially in the little part they had where Superman kicked the bucket. And as much as everybody hates and shits on Guy Gardner, he was still there with his eyes. He couldn't even see, and he was having somebody else point his ring so he could still fight in the fight. That's a real hero.
Yeah. Okay, then.
Plus, he's not afraid.
Now, second to him, Ghost Rider, just strictly on aesthetics. That's what got me into comics, and that's what kept me coming back, was just the coolness. Whenever I think of something, I always think, is it as cool as Ghost Rider?
Oh, not many things are as cool as Ghost Rider.
Right, it's like you take everything that could be cool, and you put it all into one package. Like, if I'm sitting there drawing a page of the Buckler, and I'm like, you know what? Like, this page looks cool, but is there a reason I don't have him on a motorcycle? Mm-hmm. is there a reason right now where he's not wearing spiked leather? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a weird thing about Ghost Rider 2 because he's got like every possible thing you could throw into an edgy character, but he doesn't come off as edgy. It just feels like a natural part of that.
No, he absolutely does not come off as like an edgelord.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because of his backstory, it all makes perfect sense, you know?
Yeah. It just feels right, you know?
It's like, of course he does. Of course. Why wouldn't somebody who's like a daredevil have a head that's on fire? You know what I mean? Why not?
My sketchbook says John is a Guy Gunder fan. Figures. Is he the Guy Gunder of Independence?
Guy Gunderson? Who's that?
I said Guy Gunder of Independence. Independence.
Oh,
Independent, you know, like independent comic book people.
Gustafson from Grumpy Old Men?
Well, I guess they just don't have like gardening up in Canada. Instead, they call it gunderning.
Is that true? That's terrible and disgusting. Here, I'll put this phone right there. That way I can talk while I'm standing up like I'm in a real interview.
Let's see. Sketchbook says, I could see Rick being an uber fan in his own crossroads and becoming a villain. And there was my question too. Who's your favorite villain?
Favorite villain? Like right off the bat, it's almost like a cheat nowadays, you know, to say Doom. So I'm not going to do that. I'd say Sabretooth is my favorite villain.
Okay. What?
Just because I remember reading in this miniseries, they were in this restaurant, you know, like one of those rotating restaurants, like at the top of the Eiffel Tower or something. And somebody I think the Sabretooth had a bomb implanted into his stomach, and it was going to blow. And he had to get it taken out. And there was doctors there, because of course there was doctors there at this fancy restaurant, right? But they were trying to find something that was sharp enough to, you know, perform surgery on him because nothing was cutting him. And so Sabretooth had to sit there and like essentially hold up his own hand and let them use his fingers as scalpels to have the operation on himself. And he couldn't, you know, he needed to be, you know, aware, you know, so he just like, no, I don't want none of that booze, you know, just let's go for it, you know. Ain't nothing in this place sharper than these hands. It was pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, and he's very unapologetic. Like Sabretooth's kind of like this unstoppable force, and up to the point where he's able to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you have a room full of regular Joes, Sabretooth, and you have a room full of superpower people, through both those rooms equally. He may not get as far in one as the other, but he's going to take the same exact tactic every time, head on. You know? I just like him, and you know they've done some things to him in the past that I don't necessarily agree with, especially when it comes to like interactions with people and whether or not he would win or lose.
Yeah.
But of course, it's to be expected because he's a villain. But
well, yeah, and that's like not even the point of his character, though, too, right? Like focusing on whether he'd win or lose a matchup. It's more about what he would do in that circumstance is more of the character.
Right. It's more like how many lives can he ruin in this scenario before he gets taken down? Because he will get taken down, you know?
And you need somebody who's like equally oppositely ballsy as Wolverine to be like the counterbalance to him. Yeah, Wolverine,
you know, maybe not. In some books, I even read this book recently that was done in a really, really weird looking but very painterly style, and it was a Wolverine story. And he was like, didn't like it that much, but he was very, very brutal and very unforgiving. But even in that book, he doesn't go as far as Sabretooth would go. Just don't care. He'll slit a little kid's throat right in front of you just to make a point.
Yeah, it's pretty great that way.
He's good. He's good like that.
Now, everybody here knows that you're like the writer, the artist, everything in this book. So, how have you adapted to the writing aspect? Because you're a great artist, but I think you've said yourself you don't think you write that good, but
No. I'm not a writer. I'm when it comes to writing, I'm competent enough. There's a lot of things, just like any kind of discipline, that you need to learn when it comes to writing, and I don't know those things. Which is why, if you look at my campaign on IndieCron, you'll see that when it has the creative team, it's just me and 4 editors, because I rely heavily on these people to tell me this isn't how a story works. This is a good idea, but change it up. Now, under no circumstances would I ever let anybody dictate ideas to me. I'll take them into consideration, but that's the whole reason of doing an indie comic, is to do what you want to do. And I made this analogy, which is kind of like, you ever watch that show, what is it called? The Ranch? The one with Ashton Kutcher?
I don't think I've seen it, but go on.
It's like an okay show, but they're ranchers, and they're all independent ranchers, and they're all essentially on the verge of losing their business and getting bought out by the big beef industry. And one thing he said really stuck to me. It was like he put it in a really good way, and essentially it was like the difference between working for somebody for a really nice, solid, steady paycheck or owning your own business. Some years you might be doing really, really bad, and you might lose everything you have owning your own business. If you work for somebody, you may have a very good year, but you will never have a great year, a year that's going to make you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, I could go and work for IDW or go and try to get a job at Marvel or DC, and I may be successful and I may have a good year, but I'll never have a great year. I'll never have a red letter year where everything is just coming up Dillard and I make $1 million. You know what I mean? It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Unless you do it yourself. Unless you're doing your own thing.
I definitely understand.
So I'm sorry, what was the question?
I was trying to say something about doing the writing. Did you find doing the writing challenging for this, writing the story?
No, it definitely was. No, but doing the writing is challenging, in the sense that I it's not my wheelhouse. I'm not a practiced, seasoned, competent writer, but I am a very, very good storyteller, and I lean on other people to help me with the aspects and the tropes of writing, because that's something I don't have yet. So it is a challenge. Writing is a challenge, and it's not to be like, I see people going around talking about how they write this and that very quickly, or they write what was it? What did I forget who it was? I think it was Macho Dano. I'm not even Macho Dano. He was talking about somebody else, but he was talking about a story. No, it wasn't Macho Dano. Who was it? I forget. There's a lot of people on YouTube, Rick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But somebody was telling me about a story, and he was like, "Yeah," and then he told me about it. And I was like, "Okay," but then it was like that was it. And I was like, "Well, what about? Like, is there a larger part of that? Is that part of something else?" Like, no. It's because leading up to that point, you get to that big finale scene, and it was almost like listening to somebody describe like a Zack Snyder film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the big spectacle, the visual spectacle is the payoff, instead of the story being the payoff. And I don't like that idea.
I don't either.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so it made me sort of like think back, because for me, what makes me want to tell a story is the final reaction, the lingering reaction, the reaction that you take home with you, not what you see right there and are happy with and you clap, but what do you take home with you? Which is why, like, certain movies to me, like the movies like Hostel, which people almost universally hate because it's just horror porn, and it's a lot of gore. But to me, it left a lasting impression in the sense that they used all that stuff to build up to one big finale. And the big finale wasn't exactly what you would be expecting. It wasn't, another big spectacle of gore and horror. It was a payoff to the very thing they set up in the beginning of the movie. You had to go through all of this, cringing through all this gore, so that when the opportunity for some sort of recompense for the person that put him through all that came up, you as the audience and everybody around me in the audience visibly and audibly got up and said, run her over, run her over. Like, you don't get those reactions from movies anymore. You're an adult. You know what I mean? You don't yell out in a movie theater unless you're ghetto,
Yeah.
But because that they had put you through all that emotion of like, why am I watching this? It's so gross. You know what I mean? It's so gross. But when you got to that point where he got a chance to get some revenge on the girl that set him up, it forced you, because of what you had just been through, to get up and say, run that bitch over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I tell you. Things like that you take home with you. And that's what I really want to make sure is in the book. I want those scenes to resonate to the point where you take it with you after you're done reading. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Another thing, a question that I just was thinking is, if you could eventually hire a writer for the Buckler, would you do that? If it was making enough money?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I think I would hire a writer, but I would hire a ghostwriter.
Okay.
Because again, I would want 100%. I want to control the story of the book. I don't want it to go somewhere. I'd say, this is what I want. Here's my ideas. Turn it into something good story. Here's the idea. Here's the premise. Here's the setup. Here's the scenery. Throw a couple of plot twists in there. Make it interesting. That kind of thing. That's what I would do. I would hire somebody for that, but I wouldn't hire somebody to create their own stories.
Well, I mean, you don't really have to call him a ghostwriter for that. You would just be retaining editorial the entire time.
Well, I'd still call him a ghostwriter and insist that he not be, or she, Oh, hold on, we got somebody coming to the door. Let me check out who it is.
And yes, cross comments, I would hire an editor if I could afford it.
Oh, okay, my wife is here.
There's boxes here.
Okay, I'll get those boxes. There's more there?
A magnet? Where was that?
Okay. All right, do you want to watch the kid so I can go finish this interview in my studio? All right. I will be with you guys in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Hey, Rosie.
No,
Okay.
it's too late for that.
Okay. So we're without Dillard for another 5 or 10 minutes. Hair stylist too. No hairstylist.
Yeah, Rick, we need to see you with a nice pompadour.
I don't even have an idea what that is.
You know what a pompadour is? You ever see like an old Greaser Gang movie?
Yeah.
And they have like the hair kind of like flipped up in the front and then curved back with grease, and it kind of has like that point. Almost like Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Like Elvis Presley at times. Yeah, that's pompadour.
Okay. I guess I could go for that for a bit. Maybe on the personal trainer. I do need to lose a couple pounds. My problem is I don't know whether I could stick with the food plan.
Oh, I could get you on a food plan that you'd stick to, because it's more about the discipline of doing the other things, because it's all about input versus output. Thermodynamics, man.
Yeah. Also, it's... I think the other thing is that... well, as he described it, I knew what it was, but I've never heard that hairstyle called that. Or not that I can recall. Sketchbook says, Bianca fights the zombies with edit for free, Rick. Oh, that's a possibility, for sure. Yeah, you just got to come up with a good I think you also have to have a good relationship with the some sort of editor. because, well, and it depends what you mean too. Like making sure your idea isn't compromised.
It depends on what you mean by editor.
Right? Yeah.
Because an editor can be multiple things. It could be anything as simple as just having a proofreader.
Yeah.
To having somebody who is effectively a creative consultant.
Yeah.
To having somebody who is in control of the entire story, or anything in between.
Yeah.
Types of editors.
Cross Comics says we're cool. Not believe the editor no matter how much he pays. It's not about believing, it's about whether, for me, whether it's going to compromise something that I think should be in the story. I'm willing, I think we can say I'm willing to make changes, Just going over the Snowdrift script, I was willing to make changes, when we were doing that up. Grammar's not needed for good stories. Well, it depends on whether the character's supposed to have good grammar or not, too. But regular people, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's only for speech.
What was that?
And also, that's only for speech, and that also depends on what you're writing. A comic, you probably should still have good grammar in your scripts.
Yeah.
Because if you're not necessarily sitting there working with the artist, if you misspell something too bad, that you didn't intend them to do, because they misinterpreted what that panel was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But ultimately, grammar just aids understanding. So if you really want a good story to shine, the understanding has to be there.
He says, the comic edited by Cross Comics. Me, I'm winning. Now I leave no raisin.
Now I leave for no reason. He's quoting Futurama. There's an episode where these brains attacked and they were making everybody stupid. But because Fry was his own grandpa, he missed this delta wave or whatever that was supposed to be in the brain that they were leeching off of, and he had to go and fight them. And they ended up going inside of storybooks and everything. And he wrote a storybook at the end that had really bad grammar because Fry's an idiot. And it was the last book, and it convinced all of the brains to leave. And that's what the big brain said at the end. Me, I'm winning now. I am leaving for no reason.
I think John's back.
Oh.
Hey, John.
Can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm back in my studio now. I'm happy. I'm content.
Don't have to take care of your kid.
Don't have to take care of that kid no more.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
You were saying something?
What was I saying? I know we were talking about writing.
So I want to ask your opinion, Rick. Because everywhere I go, you're a hit on this cover. What do you think about your likeness on this cover?
It got me looking a little retarded or something. But you can't laugh.
Oh, I didn't ask you to make a retarded face. I said I want you to make a surprised face, Rick. And then after all the times and all the really earnest tries I went through to get you to send me a decent photograph.
Yeah, and I tried to give you a decent photograph.
I remember there was some issue with your phone not being able to take pictures in some resolution. There was another issue with your computer. There was all kinds of issues.
Yeah.
Getting the lighting at the right angle.
Yeah. I even went through the same thing with Muttman. He sent me the perfect picture after and I kept telling him, because the thing is, I'm asking for a picture, right?
Yeah.
I'm not paying the guy. He's not a model or anything.
Yeah.
So I can't exactly be that harsh on him. But after like the fourth time of him sending me like the perfect picture, but the lighting from the wrong direction again, you know? I gotta have a pretty rock solid image of, like, even if you're doing a painting of a portrait painting of somebody, you want them sitting there. You know, it's not something that can just be done from memory.
True.
Yeah.
Even master artists need to have the person in front of them as they're doing it. I need a representation of this person in front of me while I'm doing this work. This great work of art, this fine art that I'm performing here. I finally had to just take the picture of myself in the exact pose, and I had to write on the picture, where I want the lighting to come from, how far away from the camera. The camera needs to be about chest height, it can't be eye to eye, that kind of thing. And then finally I got a couple of pictures back, and one of them I was still able to use, even though they were still not correct. Is that it, Rick? That's all the questions you had for me?
Oh, I don't. Well, we got some stuff in the chat. Well, but that's about me and Futurama. I'm trying to think. Any more questions from you, Metal? Or comments or whatever?
Oh, man, I'm pretty content just sitting here watching you fluster.
Yeah, of course. Everybody is. Can we see the impressions of Rick's facial expressions, says Timothy? I'm not sure whether we still got those pictures or not. Trying to think of good questions to ask. Because, like I said, it's,
You should go on your... they have computers these days, Rick. You should type in the computer, good questions to ask artists.
Okay, let's see what they bring up if we do that. Good.
So, Dillard.
All right, we went from 2,097 to 2,157.
No, we were at...
You're doing minimal location research, isn't that correct?
Not really, but go ahead.
Oh, you were joking about that at one point in time.
Oh, no, we were at that when we
Metal,
started.
you know me. What on earth would possess me to actually do a deep dive into location research in Winnipeg, Canada?
Well, no, I think that's great.
Realistically, all I did was I went to I did a Google map search, right? And I didn't want to just make these places up like out of nowhere, just pull them out of the ether.
Yeah.
So what I did was I went and I found locations that seemed to be the most appropriate. I needed a city scene for a main thoroughfare. I needed a city scene that had a lot of almost like courtyard, like a food court, an outdoor food area. You know what I mean? Like something that had big walking area, hanging out area, and not exactly traffic. And then I needed a big location that was a landmark in Winnipeg. That's where the Esplanade Real came in. And then a couple of other places that I just kind of picked in. And I did, made sure I got a street view of it, made sure to click on the pictures that people would take of these landmarks, read the description, read what people say about them, but not too much more than that.
Yeah. Well, I was saying that's good, because it's something I like about comics in general is when you just kind of get like this almost completely uninformed interpretation of a place by somebody who doesn't live there, which is something that you see a lot for basically anywhere that wasn't New York City. Since historically most comic books, like New York would be perfect because they all live there.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that, dude. Like, you remember when they tried to make a comic book movie in like Phoenix?
Yeah.
It's like, what? You suck. Go home, Thor. You're drunk.
But it's good to have these like artist interpretations of things.
Alec says, Dillard, what is your mindset when drawing a fight scene or a splash page?
My mindset, it's usually probably like when I'm drawing a fight scene is different than a splash page. A splash page, I kind of try to keep in my head, like I try to keep my mindset in my head on like music or films that bring out the emotion that I want to portray in that splash page. When it comes to a fight scene, I really want... What? I keep hearing myself.
I do too. I don't know where that's coming from.
Okay. When it comes to a fight scene, I want to portray the action as faithfully as possible. Because the thing is, you don't get... It's not a moving picture. It's not a film. You know, you don't get the full impact of the punch and the follow through and the turnaround and the kick and all that stuff. So, in order to follow what's happening, things need to be almost like extra dramatic or extra realistic. So it's like, okay, so I know in this scene right here that he just punched the guy in the face, and the next scene he may do a little turn to do something, but it needs to be a big turn. It needs to be a dramatic turn. He needs to be on the ground. He needs to be looking where he's going to be headed the next time. You know what I mean? Everything needs to be over the top because you're not getting the in-betweens. Every image has to be... It has to have that feeling that of you just watched an action scene. Every single image. So I try to keep in mind... I try to keep that almost like... You remember the How to Draw Comics the Marvel way. You know, when you're doing... studying in classes for like intro to animation and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Where it's just the big sweeping gestures, the motions. I try to get those down in general. And not only that, I want to make sure that the physicality that's happening is actually something that the person would be doing. This is the choice that the Buckler would be making in this scenario. Because everything the Buckler does needs to have 100% of his power behind it. Because he's the kind of person that would hurt you in a fight. He's not a gentleman pugilist. You know, he will absolutely, if you're close enough and it's the most prudent thing to do, you know, grab the back of your head and put your teeth through a curb. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Put you under while he goes and handles this thing behind him. That's exactly what he would do. He's a villain. You don't care about, you know, pride or having some sort of a code of ethics when it comes to fighting.
No.
So when I draw him fighting somebody or something, 100% of his body is behind it.
Eric Hawkins is here, and he says, Dillard, do you find it easier to draw in the nude?
Yes. If he means by that, drawing my characters nude and then adding clothes afterwards. Absolutely, I find that easier. I have a hard time drawing clothes from Jump Street. I have to hang them off anatomy.
I think he asks if you draw better in the nude.
I would not, under any circumstances, entertain such a disgusting question, Metal. You know that.
And Timothy says, what happens to his bait shop?
What happens to it?
Yeah, that's what Timothy's asking.
You know, his bait shop, I don't know, is doing well this quarter. I mean, not everything has to crash and burn in his life. He still has to have his bait shop. That's how he makes his money.
Yeah.
So I looked up questions to ask an artist. So one of the questions is, how does your work...
Rick, that was a joke.
Yes, I know. So that's why I'm going to ask you a question that probably is going to be a bit of a joke to ask from it.
All right, go ahead. I'm ready.
How does your work comment on the current social or political issues?
It doesn't. This is escapism.
Though he does fight a mob. Completely unrelated to anything going on, but he does fight a mob.
It's almost like I got my finger on the pulse of what's happening in the world. But yeah, I'm not really calling the cops if anything happens in one way or another. But I will say this, Rick. My work, if this is what you want to call this, it comments on the current state of affairs of the world in this way, thusly. I say in my intro video, which I don't know if you've played yet, But in my intro video, I always make a point to say, and I say this in live streams too. It's a story. I want to tell you this story because you need to hear it. It's a story that I want to tell you. There are things that I was discussing this with Metal the other day that you would really want to pass on to your son or your daughter or your nephew if you had that kind of relationship. And we were talking about how some people that don't have that relationship or don't have those kinds of people in their lives try to take it out on other people, on other people's kids. They want to have influence over somebody. And you do, as a person, as a human being, you want to pass down your knowledge and things that stories that you think are important that could teach somebody something. It's a story that says something about how you deal with adversity or how you deal with heartache or how you deal with success or how you deal with something when you have more power than anybody else and it's all on you. There are stories like that exist that need to be told. And I think people need to hear. I don't think that those stories are being told these days. There's a lot of real flippant stories about how this is how I feel right now. Let me be quirky for the sake of quirkiness, and then let's have some LOL totally random thing happen.
Yeah.
And I don't think those stories are important, and I don't think they're worth your time. This story is. This story, like I was saying earlier, this story it has a climax. It does. The climax of this story is not the fight. The climax of the story comes after.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the story about the Buckler's world, not your world. This is about his world.
Yeah.
And you, as the reader, can take and glean whatever you want from that story, or leave it. It's up to you. It depends on how much introspection you want to do reading a comic book. That's my take on it.
Alric says, how much does the Buckler weigh? Because if he throws his entire weight behind a punch, he can do something pretty good. He can do some pretty good damage.
Yeah, I would say just from the way I draw him, because I have him at about 6'5", 6'6", he probably weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of about 320.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And mostly muscle.
Eric Hawkins says, what is the Buckler's ethical background?
Is it ethical background?
That's what it says. I don't know if he meant
Christian,
ethical.
I guess. I guess his morals and his ethics would be kind of formed from Christianity. That's what he grew up around. Person that wants to go and suicide himself for 33 virgins, but I don't know. Maybe I don't understand the question fully.
Another question that they say to ask from this thing is, how do you navigate the art world?
I navigate the art world in all caps. What?
He meant ethnic background. What
Oh,
race-
ethnic background. That's a lot different. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
He's white, and he's 1/4 Hispanic. He's an American that lives in Winnipeg, Canada. That's about it.
Okay. Timothy said I skipped his statement. After he's destroyed the city, you would think the authorities would raid it.
The Buckler bait and tackle? Yeah, you would think. You know, that just like after, Carmine Falcone, does all kinds of craziness, you'd think they would go after his businesses, but for some reason they don't, and that reason kind of shadows that in this book.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to say that the premise of the book is that the Buckler is here to take hold of the criminal underworld. And I'm going to say, maybe this ain't a spoiler, but he doesn't die at the end, so who knows what happens.
And how do you cultivate a collector base?
Oh, I have no idea. If I knew that, I'd be a millionaire. But what I'm doing currently to cultivate a collector base is to make sure that the book itself is worth collecting. It's worth having. If I really wanted to cultivate a collector base, I'd make one copy and sell that, and that's it. Other than that, I don't know how.
How do you price your work?
I price my work according to majorly how I feel. If that's an answer.
Sure, why not?
If I think the piece itself is very important, if it's very important to me, if it's very important to the story, and if it's technically executed the way I wanted to do it, then I put a higher price tag on it. If I do it and it's serviceable, but it's not exactly how I want to do it, but I don't have time to go back and redo it, then I think I would lower the price a little bit.
Which current art world trends are you following?
I do not follow current art world trends. I stopped following current art world trends around, 1974?
Yeah, because you're still wearing berets and nobody else is.
Mm-hmm.
Eric says, how do you navigate the art world? What kind of weird pompous art school made that into a question? Were they high?
These are Rick's questions here. And Rick has a whole list of questions. These are the ones he's choosing.
How do you seek out opportunities?
Opportunities for what?
Gets to draw or whatever, I don't know. You said to, go to Google, so I got this and that. I think it would be.
I was almost positive that I said that was a joke, Rick, and then you said that you understood that.
Yeah, I know. But if we could ask you these questions, it would be a little bit more of a joke.
Well, they certainly are that.
Well, especially since I don't really think they're supposed to be focused on comic book style art.
No, this is more. These questions are geared more towards fine artists, if you can call them that. Bunch of hacks. I seek out opportunities in this sense, Rick. I listen to what people say they want from me. If I can do it, if it's within my power, I do it. If the opportunity is there to make a sale, like a Shabby told me, and somebody else told me, hey, I can't afford to back internationally. It would just cost me too much money. I said, okay, well, let me see what I could do. So I went and I opened up a tier for digital. I do what I can with the tools that I have, and I will say, not to be put too fine a point on it, I do pretty well that way. I don't have a lot of tools, but I'm able to use my tools in a lot of different ways to make a lot of things happen that a lot of people couldn't. So I do my best to seek out opportunities like that.
Howard says, come on, stop asking questions like some journalists from mainstream media. Ask him about how, the Buckler would rule the world if he could. So there's a question for you. How would the Buckler rule the world if he could? Does the Buckler wanna rule the world?
Honestly, he wouldn't mind it. He doesn't have aspirations to rule the world, but more importantly, he has aspirations to do what he wants and not be told what to do. Now, if that means that he's going to have to end up ruling the world for that to happen, maybe that's a step he has to take. Because he, under no circumstances, wants to be dictated to and be treated like a child and told what to do. So, I equate him to a lot to Doom, to Dr. Doom. If he has to go and start his own damn country so that he's not being bothered by people, and he has to, come to the point where he has enough power to defend himself if necessary, for that to be a deterrent for other people to stop bothering him, that's what he's going to do in his life.
And then Timothy says, Dillard, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
I don't know, Rick. How would you finish that sentence?
I would say a woodchuck could chuck. A woodchuck could chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
I agree.
Timothy says Buckytown.
It's a horrible name for a town.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Metal there.
Yeah. What can I think to ask? Alex says he could make Winnipeg his own country, laugh out loud.
Well, the thing is, he kind of does. People aren't looking. They're not necessarily looking to, on a regular basis, upend his, usurp his power, put a stop to him. It takes quite a bit of doing in this book to get people. What do you call that? Rile up?
Rile up?
I don't know. What do you call it when you're trying to stimulate a voter base? You know what I mean? It takes a lot of doing in this book for people to get off their ass and get into the fray. They're Canadians. They're not actually trying to come out there and have a revolution. They're more of a meek and cowardly people.
That doesn't really speak about Canadians.
Well, who's writing a book about Canadians? I mean, are you?
Both of us?
Well, you mean that book you had a long time ago? Come on, Rick. What have you done recently?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of number 2 of it.
Well, you should mute your microphone if you're doing that. But the thing is, they're not actually out to kind of usurp the Buckler. So essentially, whatever he decides to do in his own town, his own place of business, his own property, the places he goes, because he also has a cabin, this is essentially his world. If he wants to go and do whatever he wants at this lake, this area up in the mountains where his cabin is, he has the run of the place. Nobody's going to tell him what to do. So everywhere he goes is essentially his own little fiefdom,
Eric says, how well is Tim Hortons represented in the Buckler?
It is not represented well. It's represented in the ash can. Just not in this book. You know what? I do have a couple of city scenes that I need to still draw. There may be a Tom Morton's in there somewhere.
Tom Morton. What about a Starbucks? They're popping up here now, too, for a while.
Now that's not necessarily doesn't scream Canadian,
True.
To me, anyway, I don't know. I never been to Starbucks.
Maybe the Bay. Hudson Bay Company.
Excuse me.
They're a department store. The Bay.
Oh, okay.
Screams Northeast says Timothy.
Yeah, I mean Starbucks screams the Pacific Northwest to me.
Trying to think. Canadian Tire.
Princess Auto?
Yeah. Princess Auto, there's a few of those around this area. But probably Canadian Tire would be a bigger one. They're more than just tires. They're almost like a department.
Well, there's a
store.
guy that I watch on YouTube called AVE, and he's an engineer. I think he's a hydraulic engineer, and he's always talking about Princess Auto.
Huh. I'm not sure how big they are, that company. I know there's one in my city, and I know there's one around my dad's city in Owen Sound. But I don't know how far-reaching across the country they are. So.
Well, me neither. So I'm not gonna like contact random people in Winnipeg and ask them, what kind of store do you have over there where you buy, screws and nuts and bolts?
Oh, you want me to for you? I got a friend in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
I do not want you to do that.
I was just looking for an excuse to bother my friend.
Well, you could easily put Canadian Tire for that, then.
I don't care about Canadian Tire, Rick. Jeez Louise.
Timothy
Why would
says...
Canadian Tire be in the middle of Winnipeg anyway? Wouldn't it be like closer to the edges of the city?
Oh, they're all over here in Hamilton, they're all over the city.
Oh my God! If we keep talking about goddamn Canadian Tire and their locations, I'm gonna shit myself.
Timothy says Kentucky Fried Chicken, where he goes,
No, he says Canucky Fried Chicken.
That's what I was just about to say.
That'd be pretty funny.
Just do it, Dillard. I'm not sure what he wants you to do, but... So, yeah. See where we're at. See if we went up any... Oh! We're at 37 backers. 2,197. So doing...
Well, that's fantastic. That means I got a backer.
Yes, it does. Out of this time, whether it was from the show here or from somewhere else. From watching
I can tell you right now. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, that's definitely not from this show. Okay, never mind. That was a family member.
Yeah. Well, good for your family.
Good for my family. Good for me.
Yeah.
Give me money. What do I care about family?
Yeah, and the great thing is, if they live near you, you save on the delivery costs.
I'm not going to go visit those people. I'm going to deliver it to them. I'm going to just ship it to them.
Well, you could just go put it in the mailbox without...
I don't want to drive to Los Angeles and get shot in the chest, Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's paid professionals for that kind of stuff. They're called mail people.
Yeah.
It would be one of the Trailer Park Boys characters.
That's what I like about that main picture that I have on the page of him sitting on the couch. That Trailer Park Boys mustard glass.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. I was like, when I drew that picture, I was like, that's when I was like, oh, this is gonna 100% have to be a comic book. This is too good. I have to do this because that was one of the first pictures I drew of the Buckler, like actually looking cool and evil.
I remember that too. You spent a lot of time coloring the ice.
Yes, that ice. Drawing whiskey and ice in a glass is not easy.
Yeah. So what would your 1-minute elevator pitch be, John?
Oh, I don't have one. Don't even worry about it.
Not necessary.
It's not necessary.
Ain't pitching this to no one.
You're not going to try and convince somebody to buy it in an elevator as you're going up a few floors?
No, I'll just press the stop elevator button.
Like, you're stuck in here with me until I'm done talking.
Oh.
He's a big guy too. You think most people are going to move him? You can just stand right in front of the elevator.
I said, now look at here. I want to tell you about the Buckler. No, I'm saying let's see. What's my good elevator pitch for the Buckler? The Buckler as a character, or why you should back the character. Let's see. Let's do why you should back the character. This book that I'm working on, the Buckler, it's a villainous book. It's a book about a villain, but it's a villain with a heart, and not a heart of gold, but just a heart. It's a book about you, and it's about the things that you don't want to express. It's the things that you don't want to admit about yourself. That's what this book is. It reaches in and it kind of grips your heart and it tugs you along and makes you follow this man's story. He's incredibly powerful. He goes through incredible scenarios and situations, and he reacts like you would react. And it's a refreshing take in a way that people aren't really doing anymore. That's what I would say my elevator pitch is.
And in that voice too, I guess, eh? Real scary and ominous.
I'm always ominous, Rick. That's how I talk. That's how I talk to people. They get uncomfortable because I talk to them. You know, when I talk to people, Rick, did you know I do this? Sometimes when we're like standing around talking, I'll walk around them as I talk to them.
No, I did not know that.
I do that, and I reach in, and I talk really close to the back of their ear when I'm behind them and stuff like that. It's really gross. This is the kind of person.
Is your last name
Biden? Kind of person I am.
Is your last name Biden?
No, my last name is Dracula.
It's like a great white shark.
Oh, but we are at that time. You want to promote anything there, Metal?
Actually, the only thing I want to promote right now, we just spent most of the stream talking about, so I'm good.
You're always trying to promote that damn Final Fantasy show. Enough of your garbage already.
No, I was talking about the Buckler.
Oh, in that case, go ahead.
We just spent like the whole show talking about that, so.
Yeah, talking about that Final Fantasy.
See, you roped me in. I have to promote it, even if I wasn't going to anyway. Because I have an editor credit now.
Yep. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to? It's a fantastic story.
I would anyway.
I mean, I know why Rick wouldn't want to, but why would you not want to?
Why wouldn't I want to? Heck,
Because you're selfish, that's why. Did you see him earlier? He was already trying to weasel his way out of the drawn and quartered by trying to figure out whether or not I went on for him.
No,
only Rick Paper does that.
I wasn't trying to weasel my way out of it for that.
I'm sorry, snake your way out of it.
I wasn't trying to do that either. I was just, whether you had or not, I was going to go on. I was just trying to be truthful to my audience.
Think I don't know your tricks, Rick?
Timothy says John Dillard Biden.
And then he says, damn, that joke did not land. Stupid typo.
Oh, okay. Well, although we have been promoting it for the last couple hours, what do you want to say here at the end, John? Although you probably be on.
I want to say to you guys in the chat, you guys are great. Thank you so much for backing the book. And if you got a little bit of extra time on your hands, I'd like you to go and share this project out. Share out the Indiegogo page. I think if people, they'd find it's probably something that they'd be even a little more than interested in. I think it's a great product. I'm very happy that it got funded so quick. I want to thank you guys for doing that. And I'm going to do my best to give you something you're going to remember for a while. Thank you.
Well, thanks everybody for coming by. Thanks for Metal and John for coming on. Mallet asks, have you reached out to Doug TeNapel yet?
Yeah, I reached out to everybody. Doug don't like me though, so probably not.
Maybe you can Fly Fox and Matthew Reese have a connection with him. Maybe you can get them to talk to him.
Well, so do I. He just doesn't like me. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how well somebody recommends you if they already don't like
Yeah.
you.
Well, I'm just saying, he's been on their shows or they've been on his show, so.
Would it just be better for him to go onto a show where somebody at least has a neutral opinion of him, like going over
Yeah.
at Reese?
Yeah.
He may even have a positive. I don't know. I'm just not going to speak for somebody else.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks everybody for coming by, watching, listening, and
Well, also, everybody, before we leave, Rick,
yeah,
and don't yell at me, Rick. Before we leave, I want to tell everybody in the chat, I'm trying to get this book into as many hands as possible. So if you know anybody that has a show, if you frequent anybody's channel that does these sort of things where they promote other creators and they want to talk about people that are coming out with books, please let them know that I'm looking. Let me know. My DMs are wide open, so, and you all know that. Let me know if you got a line on anybody that might be interested. Looking to make appointments. So please, 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 if you could, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
And yeah, thanks everybody in the chat for coming out, participating in the chat, asking questions and all that. It's been great having everybody here. We'll catch you later. Mallet says, go visit Calamity Cat's chat. You will get new eyes. That's on Twitter. So
Twitch?
Yeah, Twitch. Sorry, not Twitter. What a twit I am. Okay, so we'll all see you tomorrow. Bye for now. God bless. Have a great and wonderful night. Love you all.